Yes, I'm Mitch Bryars, and welcome everybody. I am very delighted to see that we have this many people here for the Apple Watch. So I have to ask, how many presently have an Apple Watch? Okay, about half maybe. And how many of those people who have an Apple Watch, how many do not have the latest watch, the Apple Watch 4? Okay, okay, about half a dozen. Okay. If you're thinking about an upgrade that's worthwhile, the Apple Watch 4 is absolutely, hands down, much better than the 3, much better than the 2, of course, and the 1. And of course, you get a couple features with, well, the big feature you get with the 4 that you don't with the others is you get the EKG or ECG, whatever you want to call it, and that is now functional. We'll go over that today. And also the processor on the new watch is, I mean, I had the 3, and this processor just seems like it's lightning fast in comparison to this 3. It really is. And the battery life is much better too. Unfortunately, we can't mirror the watch on the screen, so I have to show videos, and I can show you the Apple Watch app on the phone, which we'll go over. So I want to go through a couple of those, and the one I want to actually start with is with our buddy Dan, the man on Note Tutorials. And I did go through his entire video on the Apple Watch 4. For some reason, I couldn't get the last lesson to play, and I actually emailed him about that, but he hasn't gotten back to me yet. So I picked out a few of these that I thought would just give you a quick introduction to the watch. And so with that, I'm going to start this first one, which is getting around the Apple Watch.
In this video, we're going to take a quick look at how we get around the Apple Watch. Let's go to my Apple Watch. So right now I'm looking at a watch face. We can see the time, 12:42. We also have various complications. Complication is a term used for old watches where they have the date on it. Where they have that date is called a complication. Well, if we look at the Apple Watch here, we have the date. That's a complication. But with certain watch faces, we can have more complications. You're going to see I have the temperature here. That's another complication. I have my activity, another complication. I have my home kit controls, and then I also have my heart rate, 2 more complications. So depending on which watch face you used, you'll have a number of different complications on that watch face. And we can change what complications are shown on a watch face. We'll talk about that later on in the tutorial. Now what we can do is we can switch to a different watch face. To switch to a different watch face, we just swipe to the left or right. So I'm going to swipe over to the right here, and we have a different watch face. But if we look at this, it looks the same as my other watch face. What's different? Well, instead of my heart rate, you're going to see I have my events, my next event here. So I've changed the complication. I'm going to swipe over to the left. Let's swipe over to the left one more time. And now I'm looking at Mickey Mouse. When we're looking at Mickey Mouse here, we have 3 complications. I have the date in the upper left-hand corner. I have the temperature in the upper right-hand corner. And then I also have my event calendar at the bottom. Let's swipe over to the right to get to my original watch face. So that's how we get around our watch face. Now let's take a quick look at notifications. If you notice, I have a red dot at the top of my watch face. This means that I have unread notifications. How do I get to the notifications? Well, all I have to do is just swipe down from the top. Swipe down, and now I'm looking at my notifications. To get back to our watch face, all we have to do is just swipe up or push in the digital crown. If you notice, the red dot is gone. That's because I've read my notifications. Now if I get a new notification, the red dot will show because it is unread. I swipe down to view it, I swipe back up to get to my watch face, and that red dot will be gone. So that's how we view our notifications. We just swipe down from the top. If I swipe up from the bottom, I get to my control center where we have various controls for the Apple Watch. We'll talk a little bit more about the control center in another lesson. But all we have to do is just swipe up, and then we can also scroll up to view more controls. To get back to my watch face, I just swipe back down. Or what I can do is I can press on the digital crown. So let's go back to my control center, swipe up, and now I want to get back to my watch face, I press in on the digital crown. So that's how we access our control center. We just swipe up from the bottom. Now let's take a look at the digital crown. The digital crown has a number of different features. When we're in an app where we can scroll through it, when we turn the digital crown, we can scroll through the various aspects of that app. Let's go to the control center. I swipe up, and now I can use the digital crown to scroll through the various controls. Another feature of the digital crown is it brings us back to our watch face when we're in an app. So I'm in the control center here. I want to go back to my watch face. I push in the digital crown, and it brings us back to my watch face. Now when we're at the watch face and we push in the digital crown, it'll bring us to all of our apps. So let's push it in, and now I'm looking at all of my apps. These are represented as icons. Later on in the tutorial, I'll show you how you can represent these as a list. This is how I prefer to look at my apps, as a list. If I press in the digital crown, what does it do? It brings us back to our watch face. And then the last thing is if we push and hold on it, then we get Siri. So that's the digital crown. Now let's take a look at the button below the digital crown. This gives us access to our dock. When we press this in, we're going to see a number of different apps. Now depending on how we have this set up, our dock set up, we're going to see either our most recent apps that we've opened, or we're going to see our favorite apps. We set this up in the Watch app on the iPhone, and I'll show you how you do that later on in the tutorial. So when we press the button below the digital crown, we get our dock. Now to open up any one of these apps, we just tap on it, or what we can do is swipe up and down to go through the list, or we can use the digital crown to scroll through the list. To remove an app from the dock, we just swipe over to the left. To get back to our watch face, what do? We push in the digital crown. So that's the dock. We access it through the button below the digital crown. So that's how we get around the Apple Watch. When we're looking at a watch face, we swipe left or right to switch to different watch faces. If we see a red dot, we have unread notifications. To view all of our notifications, we just swipe down from the top. To view our control center, we swipe up from the bottom. We use the digital crown to bring us back over to our watch face when we're in an app, or if watch face, it'll be all my different apps on the Apple Watch. If we press and hold on the digital crown, we can access Siri. And then the button below the digital crown gives us access to our dock where we can see either our recent apps or our favorite apps. So that's how we get around the Apple Watch.
Okay, any initial questions on that? That might, just one second. If you don't have a watch, that might just seem like it's overwhelming. You got all these things, but it's very intuitive. I mean, once you have a watch for, I'd say a couple of weeks, I mean, you'll be, maybe in a few days, you'll be whizzing through a lot of this stuff. Wouldn't you agree, George?
Yes.
Yeah, I had one over here first. Yes.
How do you manage the app face? In other words, there's so many things on there.
Yeah, I'm going to go over that in a little bit. Yes.
I got this goofy thing that I finally figured out one of them. On the bottom, it shows me Cupertino's time, always.
Yeah.
On the left, it says 15:00, whatever, I don't know. What is that?
Right. I don't use that watch face, but see me after the meeting and I'll go over it with you.
Okay.
These complications that they talk about that you can put on the face, like the temperature or the heart rate or whatever. On certain watch faces, some of them are not available. The ones that come to mind are the text messaging is not available on a lot of them, and neither is the phone. Now, I'll show you, I took some screenshots of the three that are my favorites. This is the one that I use 95% of the time. So this is my watch face. It's got the time, it's got the date, the day. It has heart rate information. It'll show you the average, the low, the high, and what it is. Now, the 58 is the outside temperature when I took this shot. This is exercise material, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. And this is text. And when I get a text, a number appears there. And I can just touch on that text, and the text will actually come up. I can respond with some standard responses, which again, I'll try and go over in the app. Or I can dictate a response with Siri, and it's reasonably accurate. Yes, Jim?
Jim Korska. Did you start with a blank screen and make all of that, or did you start?
I started with their screen, and I'll show you that in a few minutes.
Okay.
And then I changed it. You can change any of these.
Yeah, but I can't find that watch face on mine.
Yeah, well, that's because you're not the watch guy. Now, this is the one that I used to use. This is the one that I used to use all the time.
When you were working?
No, not when I was working, but before I could get the text stuff on there. So it's very similar to the other one. It's got the time, it's the temperatures in a different place, it's got the date, it's got the exercise stuff here. Right here, it would be a stock if it were, when I took the shot that the market wasn't open, but you can have your favorite stock there, and that can be changed easily. And then here's the battery percentage. Now, so from this face, I could make this face, and I could do it in a few minutes. Now, the third one that I just set up the other day is a takeoff of, again, the basic one, time, date. Here I put the weather. And the reason I set this one up is I wanted, there's a lot of ways to quickly access things, but I wanted to just be able to swipe to a watch face and get my phone and go to the EKG. You can do that in your dock as well pretty easily, but this is I just swipe it, if I hit that phone, it just says, the list comes up, favorites and recent calls and so on. And you can actually make a call from the watch. Your phone doesn't need to be with you if you've gotten the watch that works independently and the more expensive one. And so if I forget my watch and I'm running up the street, I'm not panicky anymore. Or if I've forgotten my phone, yeah, if I've forgotten my phone. So these are the three that I use most often. The one I really use is this one because I really like this text deal. Yes.
Quick question. The more expensive phone watch that you don't need your phone with, do you have to add that though to your?
You have to add that to your
cell phone?
plan,
Right.
and that costs $10 a month for that independent service. Yes. Yes.
Can you regulate it so it doesn't keep going off?
No, you cannot. A lot of people complain about that. They'd like it on all the time. But as of now, it's just, pull it up like that. Now, you can, I did see in the settings, I was just looking at that coming in here, that I think you can adjust the time that it'll stay on to a little bit longer time.
70 seconds.
Yeah, 70 seconds. I've got mine that I just go like that and it comes on. Or you can always just touch it and it'll come on. Okay, yes.
When I was just sitting here, I got a notification, it was an email. How can I respond to that, say I'm in a meeting? Can I just touch something?
You know, I'm not sure because I don't do emails on the watch, but
I think you swipe up or down.
so, yeah, try swiping up or down, and it probably has some standard responses. Does it? No? Anybody have an answer for that? No? Because I don't do email on the watch. I mean, there's certain things I just don't do on the watch. But if you Google that, I can guarantee you'll get it. And I'm sorry, I don't have the answer to that.
And he's probably got a tutorial on that, Dan.
No, I don't think he does. I went through every one. I don't remember that one. Yes, back there.
When you get a text, in addition to the number, does it vibrate or anything?
It does vibrate a little bit, yeah. Yeah.
Can you respond to Texas?
You can respond to texts, and it's similar to on the phone when somebody calls you and you're busy and there's a standard list of responses you can send, or you can send a Siri response. You can also do the Hey Siri, and it'll come up on the watch and you can make a call.
You can also write a response.
You can also what?
Write with your fingers.
Yes, you can write. You can write and
it'll
it'll pick that stuff up. And I haven't done that. I saw it on a couple of videos and it looked really
It works
nice.
really well.
Yeah, it works very well. I know that. Yeah. Yes, Vicki.
Siri is, for some people, notoriously horrible
Yes.
when you dictate. Is it easy to make the corrections or not? It's not. worth
It's
the
not
time.
easy to make the corrections, no, because the keyboard doesn't come up to allow you to make the
Yeah.
corrections. And so I have had trouble with it. It's usually pretty good, but if I'm in an area where there's a lot of ambient noise, it seems to not work as well. And that's one thing I'll mention is, I actually had a picture that I wanted to show of the sizes of these watches. So, okay, this, there we go. This is the size of the new bigger watch. It's the one I have. And this is the size of the smaller watch. Now, the interesting thing is that this is just a, 44, this one's 42. You can hardly see the difference. But the screen is actually like 35% bigger because they went edge to edge, and you can see that here. See how this is square, and this is rounded, and it goes edge to edge. And it's actually the 977 square millimeters, and this was 740, so it's really a lot bigger. Now, the interesting thing is the smaller watch, which a lot of women, particularly women who are smaller, won't want something this big on their wrist, so they'll get the smaller one. Well, now if you get the new smaller one, the screen on the smaller one is as big as the old bigger one because they went edge to edge. So a lot of people don't know that, but that was a really nice improvement. The other thing I will mention is that you can see it, and he talked about it briefly. I think he did. Maybe I haven't played that one yet. But this button on the side used to stick out. Now it's sort of flush right here. It's easy to hit, but it doesn't protrude like it used to. The microphone on the old one, the microphone and the speakers were over here. Now on the new one, the microphone's here. It's just a little dot right underneath the crown. And there's two speakers over here, and they are about 50% louder. And they separated the two because it works better with the phone making phone calls and so on. The other thing is that on the back of the watch now, it's all ceramic. And you say, well, who cares about that? But having an all ceramic back allowed them to do a better job on the EKG or ECG, and it also allows you to get better reception for calling, because now it'll go through the back of the watch or the front, and apparently on the old one it would not. Yes?
Yes, Mitch, the ceramic bag that you speak of, is that on the basic 4, or is that only on the?
It's on any 4.
Any 4?
Yes.
Okay. Because there's that new one that's over $1,000 that's all ceramic.
Yeah, no, you don't know.
Okay.
That's different animal. And that brings up an interesting point. My recommendation, if you want to watch, is to get the aluminum, cheaper watch. I wouldn't go for the stainless steel. The big difference with the stainless steel is that it's heavier. It's stainless steel. I've had one. My first watch was a stainless steel one. And it does have an OLED screen, or sapphire crystal screen, which is more scratch resistant. But I find that I've had 3 aluminum ones now. And I get a new one every year. Sorry, I got a disease. And I just sell my old one. I didn't think Eckert feel bad, but I sold mine for $300, Eckert. Where's Eckert? Is he still here? No, he left. He probably knew I was going to make that announcement. I think he told me he got about 2 1/4 for his. But I had a friend, and I just said, hey, you want it? I'll sell it to you for $300. He said, yep, good, done. And I've sold him 2 of them now. And this is the next one I'll be selling next fall.
Here's a couple questions.
Yes. Carl.
Now, on like the Series 4, is there a difference in how much functionality is between different watches in the Series 4? Or are they all the same
The
functionality?
big thing is the EKG, and it's much faster.
Is it all on the Series 4 though? All Series 4?
That's right.
Yes, all Series 4 do the same thing.
Oh, yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah. Except there's a difference between getting the cellular version and the non-cellular.
It's faster.
Yeah.
$100.
And it's $100, is that what it is?
$100.
Yeah, $100, and it costs you $10 a month with your phone. And for anybody who might not have an Apple phone, you cannot have a watch without having a phone.
Oh.
Sorry.
They could replace the phone, could it not?
And you can't have a watch unless you go to the iMovie meeting on,
He's gonna give you one.
Yes.
Are they hearing aid compatible? Watch.
I need somebody in the audience, I think they are, but I need somebody in the audience to answer that. Do you know?
I don't understand the
Are they
question.
hearing aid
With a
compatible?
phone, you can hear the ring through your ears.
Bluetooth. My husband has.
There's a
I have
Bluetooth
phone,
watch.
hearing aid.
The phones
Yes,
are hearing
the
aids.
Phones are, it's a watch.
Yeah, he never has to turn the phone off, because it goes directly into his ear.
Yeah, but he wants to know if the watch is.
Yes.
Does the watch
The
have
watch has the
Bluetooth on
same
it?
thing.
Is
The
it also
watch has
Bluetooth?
Bluetooth.
I'm not sure if it is, but I would Google that and it will tell you. I know that the phone is, and I know that some people have problems with that, but they seem to get it to work very well.
It works very well.
I'm laughing because we've had problems.
Well, you would have a problem because you don't have an iPhone.
Right. I don't have a hearing aid either. I didn't have, and it's not Bluetooth. He walks away, and whoever he's talking to, if I have to talk, it's like I have to disconnect the hearing aid from the phone so I can actually physically talk to them.
Oh, okay, because you're using just one phone.
Yeah.
Well, there's an easy answer to that.
Well,
Yes.
How much is the Series 4?
Oh,
This was $615, and that includes cellular, it includes
Apple Care?
Apple, 2 years of Apple Care.
Yeah, but
So
she's
that
got,
has the cellular phone on
It
it.
does.
but is yours stainless?
No,
No.
no. Yes,
Last week, CNBC had an article that Apple's working with several large insurers, including Aetna and United Healthcare,
yes.
to offer a reduced cost if at-risk seniors get the Apple IV.
Yes, they are trying to do that. The thing that I read about that was disappointing, but they haven't announced anything yet, so it could change, is they were talking about if you did, if you walked like a couple miles a day or did so many steps a day, it was quite a few.
10,000.
10,000, yeah. Then you would qualify for a free watch, but if you did 5,000, maybe you'd get 50% off. I don't know. That's what they were talking about. Here's the problem I had with that, is that when I exercise, a lot of times I'm not walking. I'm riding a bike, and so I can ride my bike 25 miles, and when I get home, it'll say I've taken 500 steps, and those are the 500 steps that I was running around the house, getting dressed to go to my bike and jumping on my bike. So I don't know how they're going to do that, but I know that if they look at calories and exercise time, which I would imagine they would, then that'll solve that problem. The same thing when I go to the gym, I'll put it on row machine, I'm doing the row machine. Well, you're not getting any steps when you're doing the row machine, but I'm going to tell you something, you're getting a hell of a workout.
And you're burning calories.
And you're burning calories, yeah.
Is this
So-
deductible as a medical expense?
I don't know that, I don't think it is. Did you?
Why don't you try it,
You-
and
you
if
get
you go to
into-
jail, we'll know.
With medical, once you call a medical device, there's other regulations they have to meet, so it gets more complicated. It's what I dealt with. Yeah.
Okay. I know that, since you brought that up, I know that Tim Cook was talking the other day, I was listening to the interview, and he thinks that the ultimate legacy for Apple is going to be healthcare. And I believe that. I mean, there are so many people now interested in the watch, and I know several people who are interested in it for a couple reasons. They didn't have a watch before, but they really are interested in it because they want that ECG or EKG to tell them what's going on with their heart, and if they've got a problem. Sometimes it gives you some false readings, but there have been several people that have gotten this thing and they sent it to their doctor and they found out they had a problem that they didn't even know about. And some of these people in the articles I've read were like young, 35 or 40, and had AFib and didn't even know it. The other thing that people like and would be really applicable to this group is the fall detection. So, you take the fall with this thing and it'll pop up and it'll say, did you fall, are you okay? And if you're not, you can just punch it, that side button, and it will, or you can just say, hey Siri, and it's coming up.
That may be beyond my abilities at the
Yeah,
moment.
right. I don't want to say it, but you can, because I don't want to call 911, but you can just say, hey, and call 911 and it will. Yes.
I just looked up on Google and it says if your hearing aids are compatible with your iPhone,
Right.
and the app you have on your iPhone, it should be compatible with your watch.
Okay.
Wow.
Yes.
Have you used the ECG?
Yeah. Yes, I have, and I'll show you.
What was
I'll
that
show
question?
you. Let me use the ECG,
You're going to show us?
and I'm going to show you that. I'll show you what it looks like. There was another question back here. No? Yes.
Did you used to use a Fitbit before you got the watch?
I used a Fitbit for about a month and gave it away to somebody. So I just did not like the Fitbit
You
at
mean
all.
before you got your first watch?
Yes. Yeah. Actually, I got one for, I don't think I ever got one for myself. I got one for my wife. I thought, well, she'll use this. She didn't use it. I ended up giving it away.
You wouldn't buy your wife a watch? You got her
She didn't want a watch. But I can tell you this about the watch. My partner at Merrill Lynch is about 10 years younger than me, and she's always had a watch. And we were just talking the other week, and she has a nice Rolex that she got, I don't know, 8 or 10 years ago. She says, I never wear it anymore. I had a very expensive Rolex that I just sold 3 weeks ago because I hadn't worn it in 2 years. And you know, it was very beautiful. It was nice to wear when I was working and going to an event where I wanted to look, you know, have jewelry on, but not working anymore. Hadn't worn a watch in 2 years. Only had one, and I have 2 sons, so that was going to be a fight when I'm gone. So I just sold it, and I sold it for, I was fortunate, I was able to sell it for about 90 cents on the dollar. It was all gold, and it was a model they don't make anymore.
Anything anybody wants to buy, talk to, or make sure.
I want to go through, I want to get to another video.
Yeah, we got a hand back there.
Yes.
I just wanted to let the group know that I have a Timex I'm willing to sell. Mitch,
$9.99.
I had a unique fall detection story last week.
Yes.
I'm in rehearsal right now for a play, and one of the things that we're doing is learning some choreography. And twice, while doing the choreography, it asked me if I was okay. It thought, and I didn't do anything that I thought was even remotely like a fall. But whatever it is I did, it thought that I had fallen.
Well, I haven't had mine go off accidentally, but I actually, I told the group this, and I haven't done it in a while, but I took it off my hand and dropped it. And when I picked it up, it said, have you fallen? Now, every time I tried to demonstrate it in here, and I dropped it 2 or 3 times, and it didn't happen. As soon as I walked in my house and dropped it, it did again. And I did read a report just the other day, and I think I'm going to turn it off when I get out to Utah because when I'm skiing, because they said that there have been skiers that they've taken a fall on the hill, and all of a sudden it's going off and saying, did you fall, and are you okay? And if you don't respond in like 10 or 15 seconds, I mean, it starts calling numbers.
I think you ought to make sure you're wearing it.
You gotta make sure.
Nick,
Yes.
how often do you have to charge it?
Okay, that's a good question. About every 18 to 24 hours. Now, there's some videos that say, well, I got mine work for 4 or 5 days, but if you're doing, if you're out and you're doing, taking a walk and it's doing the pinging up for the GPS and measuring it, that'll eat up the battery life. Now, it doesn't eat it up tremendously, but instead of getting 3 or 4 days, you'll only get 18 hours. So I exercise all the time, so I use a lot of those functions, and usually at night mine's at 50% or 40%, and I've got a charger stand. When you get one of these things, they just give you a whole thing. It just pops right on the back of it. It's a magnetic thing, and it charges it. And I actually have one in my travel case. And then I've got one at home. And the one at home, I went on Amazon, and if you go on there and say, I need a stand for my Apple Watch charging, there's 100 different ones on there for anywhere from $10 to $30 or $40 or whatever you want to pay. I have one of those that I bought 3 or 4 years ago, and it's in the bedroom. I just take off my watch every night and just put it right on there. I could wear it all night, and it would do the sleep thing. The problem is when I get up in the morning, it needs to be on a charger for a couple hours. And I don't have time to do that, so I typically take it off when I go to bed at 12 o'clock. And I actually have, this sounds silly, maybe not for this group though, I have a reminder that goes off on my phone every day at 7:30. It says, do you have your watch on? Because when I got a little lazy when I was sitting around just doing nothing on a morning, which is rare, but doing nothing, sitting around watching TV and everything, and I don't put the watch on, and all of a sudden it's 10 o'clock, and I've got to get these 12 hours of stand-up time in. And, I've already missed 3, so I get a little thing that goes off and tells me to make sure I've got it on.
Mitch,
Yes?
the crazy thing, when I used to wear mine at night, when I'm turning, this
Yeah.
thing comes on like a flashlight.
You can fix that, and I'll show you, I'm gonna show you how, you'll see that in one of the videos. So let me get to a couple things let me get to another video or two, and then I'll get to the app on the phone. So, I want to go over this gal's video, only part of it. She just goes on and on because she thinks she's a beauty queen, and she does it pretty good. But she had a pretty good section on how the EKG works, and that you should really be sitting down when you, and be sitting down sort of like this, with your arm like this, when you do the EKG. Otherwise, you can get some false readings. And that happened to me, because I get out, I was getting great readings, and all of a sudden I'd be out, and I thought, well, you know what I'm going to do is, I'm riding my bike, when my heart rate gets up to 130, I'm going to stop and do it. Well, I stop, and I'm standing there, and, I'm doing it, and it's inconclusive. And I did several of those, and then I found out, well, you really need, if you want to do that, you need to stop, sit down, put your arm on a table, and then do it, and you'll get a more accurate reading. So I'm going to play hers real quick.
Hey guys, it's Justine, and today I am so excited because the new ECG feature on the Apple Watch was recently released, and this is something that I've been waiting for I guess, since the Apple Watch officially came out. This is the Apple Watch Series 4, and this is only available on the Series 4. I'm sure you guys saw many of the videos that I did about the Apple Watch, but if you didn't, I'll put a link in the description and an annotation if you want to check that out. I posted that a while ago, but today I'm going to go through and show you guys how to activate the ECG on your Apple Watch. But the first thing that you have to do is make sure that your Apple Watch and your phone is updated to the latest OS. So once you've updated your watch and your app, go into the heart, and this will take you to the heart health, and this will have a little setup screen. I already did it, so yours may look a little bit different. You want to turn on the irregular rhythm, so that will notify you if your watch detects anything that's irregular. I also have on my high heart rate, my low heart rate. You can go in here and you can view your recorded ECGs in health. This will all be recorded inside of the health application. So here it is. I've only taken one ECG so far when I set this up this morning, so I wanted to show it to you guys again and show you how it works. You'll install the ECG app onto your watch face, and there it is right there. It's definitely recommended that you do sit down and you kind of stay relaxed while you're doing this. So I'm going to sit down under my table. I'm going to give you a demo of what it does look like over here, but just know that I'm sitting down doing this. And there is my reading right here, and this automatically gets sent to my iPhone. You can add symptoms or just click done. And then over here on my phone, you can see that the ECG recording is available. So when we open that up, I can get the reading of what my ECG was, and I can export this as a PDF to my doctor. I don't have a doctor. I should probably get one so that I can send them my PDFs. It's also something that shows you what the device was that was reading it, Apple Watch, which watch version. I just wanted to show you guys this and how to set it up in case you were curious, because I did have a few people with questions.
She goes on for about another 3 minutes talking about a bunch of nothing. But this was pretty good, and I've listened to some of hers before, and she has really good sections, and then, but I did want to mention again, if there's anything you want to know about the watch, the phone, Google it, or else get on YouTube's and put it in, and you'll get all kinds of videos that come up. And I listened to a lot of them. I just picked out 2 or 3 that I thought were pretty good for this group. Yes?
Just to clarify, for some people may have expectations of this, an ECG, you look at the heart from 10 different locations.
Yes.
And this is a rhythm strip.
Yes.
I know it's commonly called ECG,
right,
but you're just getting the rhythm.
You're just getting 2. And so, yes, and that's why it can be inconclusive, and that's why if it shows that there's a problem, you can just literally send it to your doctor, and there's been some documented cases, I don't know if anybody's seen that on the news, or, but there's been several documented cases where the person went, and in fact, they did have a problem. But it can give false reads, and it's not the same as having 8 electrodes on you.
Would you send her a text to call Bill, the doctor?
She talks super fast.
That would cause Bill to have a heart attack.
Is that an app that is included on the watch?
No, it's an app that's included, you have to set it up, and I'm going to show, she showed that pretty quickly, I'm going to go do that,
To
yes.
Bill's point, what is the main difference between the ECG, whatever that is, and the BPM?
BPM?
The beat per minute.
Oh, the beats per minute is just your pulse.
Heart rate.
Heart rate, okay?
And so what is the difference
The
on?
EKG is actually it's actually showing the rhythm of your heart and the beating of your heart on a graph. And his point is that when you get that done at the doctor's office, you have, what, 8 to 12 leads on you. They're putting them here, here, here. I think they put some on your legs, and it's pretty thorough. Well, this is only 2 leads, okay? And so it's giving you a good indication, but it's not, if it shows a problem, the whole intent is, then you better report it to your doctor and go in and have a check.
It will not tell you that you're having a heart attack.
No, it will
It's
not.
definitive, yeah.
It's AFib only, and it will tell you if there's something irregular, though.
Or
Inconclusive.
a bradycardia, a slow heart rate
Yes.
can be significant from a heart attack.
Yeah.
And that would be.
The heart attack will be on the next watch.
The next watch.
Actually, they're talking about, on the next watch, they're talking about, doing a blood pressure. Blood pressure, and they're also talking about diabetes stuff. And so, I mean, are they going to do that next fall? I have no idea. I thought they were going to do the ECG a couple of years ago, and they didn't. I thought they were going to do the pulse ox, because there's a pulse ox indicator on the back of here that's never been turned on. And I don't know why they didn't turn that on. Pulse ox it measures the amount of oxygen in your blood. It's usually a thing when you're at a doctor, they turn on your finger. So let me play a couple more of these in no particular order, because they do show different features. So let me start with this one.
Hi everyone, Harris here with iDownload Vlogs. I've been a little bit slow with videos lately as I've been finishing up finals at school. I'm now back home for Christmas break and ready to start up video production again. But in this video I want to talk about some Apple Watch tips, and not just boring Apple Watch tips that you'll find in any guide, but I want to talk about ones that I found maybe recently, or ones that I think that you may not actually know. I have a few here, and I hope that you do get something out of these. If any of these are new for you, which hopefully some are, leave a comment down below letting me know which one. So you probably know the control center setting to make your phone. I really like using that whenever I lose it in my room or wherever I am. But what you might not know is that if you hold down that same icon, it'll actually make the flash on your iPhone go off, which makes it easier to find in a dark environment, or maybe somewhere that it might be a little bit harder to find. That's a very nifty trick. Okay, so this one is exclusive to the Apple Watch Series 4. So when you're taking a heart rate reading in the Apple Watch Heart app on your watch, it normally takes a few seconds to get that reading, whatever, and then it updates every 5 seconds. Now with the Series...
Machine's not working.
I have no idea why that's happening.
That's a very nifty trick. Okay, so this one is exclusive to the Apple Watch Series 4. So when you're taking a heart rate reading in the Apple Watch Heart app on your watch, it normally takes a few seconds to get that.
Does anybody have any idea why that would
Go into Control Center on the watch, and you go into the battery, and you click.
What is that?
Connected.
What is that?
I'm going to stop the connection and reconnect it.
Craycroft, is it? Craycroft.com or what?
Okay. Let me try again.
What is that reflector
Hi everyone, Harris here with I actually make the flash updates every 5 seconds. Now with the Series 4, if you actually hold your finger over the digital crown, not only will it do it faster and more reliably, but it will also update every second instead of every 5 seconds. A cool little trick.
Okay, I want to comment on that, because I was trying that. Well, when you hold that crown and you push on it, Siri comes up. And so I thought, well, what is this guy talking about? Well, it's just literally putting your finger on the crown and not pressing it. And then the heart rate does change much quicker. And he sort of didn't explain that, but it took me a couple minutes to
But that's what you
figure out.
do anyway, is you put your finger on the crown.
You put your finger on the crown to see your heart rate.
Right.
It goes, it will record it every 5 minutes. If you want to see it second by second, or as it's changing, then you just hold your finger on there lightly and it'll change.
Yeah.
Okay?
I thought that's what you had to do.
No.
No.
Okay, let me go on.
You do have the Apple Watch Series 4. Now if you're also interested in how to do an ECG scan but what you might not know is that if you hold down that same icon, it'll actually make the flash on your iPhone go off, which makes it easier to find in a dark environment or maybe somewhere that it might be a little bit harder to find. That's a very nifty trick. Okay, so this one is exclusive to the Apple Watch Series 4. So when you're taking a heart rate reading in the Apple Watch Heart app on your watch, it normally takes a few seconds to get that reading, whatever, and then it updates every 5 seconds. Now with the Series 4, if you actually hold your finger over the digital crown, not only will it do it faster and more reliably, but it will also update every second instead of every 5 seconds. A cool little trick if you do have the Apple Watch Series 4. Now if you're also interested in how to do an ECG scan to check out kind of your heart and electrical activity of your body, I made a video about that, which I'll leave linked in the description. Up next, a trick I really like is being able to see my AirPods battery life from my Apple Watch. To do this, you go into Control Center on the watch and you go into the battery. If you click it, if your AirPods are paired, it will show you your AirPods battery, which is pretty cool. I wish it would give you the option to see your phone's battery from the watch, but AirPods is still nice to have nonetheless. Now, one that I was super satisfied to find out a few months ago is the fact that you can actually get to notification in Control Center instantly from any app you're using. I'd get really tired of having to switch from my music app to the home screen, but if you just hold the top for a second or hold the bottom for a second, you can see the little toggle pull up, and then you can pull up or down Control Center or Notification Center. I love this trick. Okay, so one I actually learned pretty recently, and I think that a lot of people don't know, is you can change the home screen from that default kind of honeycomb looking app layout. You can change that to a very simple list view and make that your home screen. So to do this, you press in hard on your screen and it will give you the option to switch to list or to switch back into the default grid. It's a really cool trick if you're not a fan of the honeycomb layout that currently is on the Apple Watch. Okay, so I really am not a huge fan of Apple Watch notification grouping. Sometimes I want to be able to see all the notifications from a specific app rather than having them grouped, which then requires another tap on your Apple Watch. So you can go into the settings and choose which apps you want to group notifications. So for some applications, I want them to be separate, and some I want them to be all clumped together if I'm not likely to be checking individual alerts as much. Additionally, say you're on your watch and you're just getting bombarded with notifications from a certain app, maybe a group chat that somebody's being really annoying in. So when you get that notification, you can slide over to have it delivered quietly. That way it'll still go to your notification center and it'll give you that red dot saying that you have notification, but it won't keep bombarding your phone. But the good side is that other notifications still come through. It's kind of like a do not disturb, but just for that one app. And then you can undo that from your settings, or if you get that notification, you just swipe right and do the reverse process to bring back your alerts more prominently. Now when you're using your watch in nightstand mode, of course, it gives you the little battery icon, but if you want to see exactly how much battery you have, you just tap on the icon for the charging and it'll give you that percentage. Now additionally, you can use your HomePod to find the location of your Apple Watch. If you have Find My iPhone or Find My Apple Watch, I guess, turned on, you can say, hey Siri, where is my Apple Watch? And hopefully I didn't trigger anything because I don't have a HomePod in this room. But you can do that and it will ping your Apple Watch if it can find it. And that's a pretty cool trick if you lose it somewhere in your room and you can't find it using other methods. Anyway, let me know about these Apple Watch tips and tricks. Some of these I found pretty useful. And
okay, great. What's that?
How does he breathe?
He's
Yeah, he's young.
It's pretty, it's
Yeah.
shallow.
So a couple things that he showed on there that are really neat tricks is when you go to that control center where airplane mode is and Wi-Fi and the flashlight on the watch, and there's your phone and you can ping that. And he said if you hold it down, also the light will go off on your phone. So I can sort of show that because my phone is sitting right here. So if I said, hey, what did I do with my phone? I just hit that. Okay? So, on the control center on the watch, so you swipe up to get to the control center, and there'll be a picture of your phone. It's right, it looks, yeah,
Between mine.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Now, wait a minute, one more thing. So then, the other thing that he said, that I actually didn't know until I was getting ready for this thing, is that if I hold down on that rather than just tap it, the light will come on. See the light now? So let me do it again.
Conversely, how do you do
But now-
it from the phone to find your watch?
I didn't do, usually when I want to find my watch, I just go, oh, there it is.
Well, you said the light comes on, but we're not also talking about the screen coming on when it becomes like a flashlight.
No.
Because you would definitely find that in the middle of the night.
No, I'll turn it over and see.
No, it's
No.
just the backlight.
It's just the backlight. Yeah. Yes.
Pardon me, a lot of times you want metrics, you examine blood pressure. I'd like to keep a running history of blood pressure, either save it on the watch or send it to a phone, so that I can have a history of what has happened over a period of time and do maybe some statistics of it. Is that at all possible?
Not automatically. I mean, you would have to like go in the notes and just set up a spreadsheet or just record it in there. I used to record mine all the time like that. I don't anymore, but you'd have to record it in notes or on a spreadsheet or somewhat. There's not an automatic.
If you search, there might be something out there maybe.
Yeah, there might be something out there, but there's nothing that I'm aware of.
It doesn't measure blood pressure.
No, it doesn't measure
That's what
blood
he
pressure.
asked.
Right.
Asked.
But there might be an app out there that you could get for recording blood pressure that would be really easy. All you take your blood pressure, you just open up that app and just go bang, 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 and you've got it.
I have one that's like from my health or something like that.
Yeah.
You got a question?
Yes.
Yeah, there's certain blood pressure machines. Omron is one that you can get an app that will match it. You put your phone
Oh,
next to
okay.
Bluetooth, and it records it, and you'll have a list that way.
Great. That's good to know. Ours doesn't do that. We've got the $39 special, but it keeps a memory up. Keeps a memory on the device. But that's a good point. I didn't know that. Okay, so I want to turn this thing off before it crashes because George's stuff is not reliable.
Let me just say one thing. If there's any people, I forgot to go over this, if there's anybody here who's never been at one of these meetings before, please see Marilyn before you leave. We have a sheet we'd like to give you.
Yeah.
Is there anybody here that's never been here before? Okay, we got
Yeah.
two.
Just see Marilyn, she's right over there. Okay, so let me get on to, I want to get on my phone.
Make
and show you.
sure this lady joins, because she was laughing a lot at what I was saying. Most of these people don't laugh anymore.
Okay, so this is my phone. And I have actually created a watch folder where I put a lot of stuff related to the watch right here. So I'm going to open that folder, and here's the stuff I have in there. I'll go over this one first. I want to talk about this. This is on a lot of the watch faces. You can put this on. The outer ring is your active calories for the day, and you set that, and I think the default is 500, I left mine at 500. A lot of people will put it at 200 or 300, or some people will put it at 700 or 800, but I just keep mine at 500. But you can change that, and the inner one, the yellow one, you can't change. It's 30 minutes of active exercise. So that's when you go to the gym, or you go ride a bike, or take a walk, and the idea is you're supposed to get 30 minutes a day. If you get more than 30 minutes, it just keeps on spinning around and recording it for you. The inner one, the blue one, is to stand up 12 times a day. And you can't just stand, I mean, it'll say, oh, it's time for you to stand up. Time for you to stand up. Well, you can't just stand up. You got to stand up and walk like to the back door and then back here, and they'll say, congratulations, you're done. But the idea is you should get 12 a day. That's pretty easy to do, I mean, when you think about it. Okay, so I wanted to get into that because, so, like here's today. Let's look at yesterday. So here's yesterday, and it shows that I had a move goal. I told you I set mine at 500. I did 831, and you can see when I did it. Well, I took a power walk right here for 4 miles. And that's where I got most of that activity, yes.
How does it measure your steps? By what method? Swinging your arm, or?
It measures it with GPS on an outside walk. On an indoor walk, when you get your watch, it'll say calibrate it, and it'll have you walk for, it'll say walk for 20 minutes, and it calibrates what your stride is and so on, and that's how it measures it.
On a treadmill?
No, we'll not do a treadmill. Very disappointing, we'll not do a treadmill, no.
How do you change that from your 500 to 700 to?
You would just, I would just go down here, I would just push on this arrow here, and you just push on it and change it. But then, here's the next one. This is the 30-minute exercise. So the minimum I'm supposed to do, and again, you can't change that minimum. It's 30, it's fixed for everybody. And yesterday I did 66 minutes. Then here's the stand-up, and you can see when I lay down to take my grandpa nap, right there. But I had 16 stand-ups, I needed 12. Then it will tell you, it'll distinguish. And what it says is, okay, I did an indoor walk, and I did 4.29 miles. And then I had total steps of 12,000 yesterday, and my total distance was 6.3 miles. So they distinguish between a workout and the total amount you walked. So it gives you all kinds of statistics. And then if you go to, okay, here are the workouts, and there's all kinds of workouts. Here's the indoor walk right there yesterday. If I hit on that, it'll come up and give that. It gives heart rate and everything else. Then at the, so here's one I did on Sunday. Then here's a cycle, 23 miles. Okay. And the cycling, you really get a lot of calories. Okay, and then like here's a row machine at Planet Fitness. Shows you right where you were. And you do those right on here. So if I'm getting ready to exercise in my dock, I've got exercise, and I would just, or you can pull up the app and you just hit which one you want to do. And you can hit other, you don't have to hit any of them, you can hit other. You'll notice I have several that are other on here. And usually other is when I'm at the gym and I'm on the treadmill. And what it does is it just calculates your calories and everything based upon your heart rate. So, yes.
Mitch, is the little green exercise app that you get on your phone?
Yes.
Is it, I mean, that you get on your watch, is it actually on the phone too?
It's on the phone as well.
It's a separate app?
No, it's on the phone. That's what I'm looking at, is on my phone. So
Right, it's
if
only in the,
It's only-
in the exercise, it's only in the activity ring app.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
And how do you add more workout categories?
Well, you just hit workout and you can choose them individually, or you can hit workout. Let's say that you're doing an outside walk, and you're doing the outside walk, and you swipe left, and they'll say, do you want to quit, or do you want to, are you done, or do you want to pause? And then also at the top is a plus arrow. If you hit the plus arrow, then you can choose a different workout, and it'll just add it to the whole series. So like if I'm at the gym on the row machine, I select the row machine. When I get off of there, I go plus and I hit other, because I know I'm going to go over and maybe do some crunches or get on a treadmill, something that they don't have a specific exercise thing for. And then when I'm done with that, I go again to that screen, swipe over, and if I hit plus again, now I'm going to the stair stepper. I hit the stair stepper.
So we have to do it on the watch, not the phone?
On the watch, yes. So here's the, I'm a fanatic about these. Here's my awards. And you can see that I've been at this for a while. And here it'll show, you know, when you first did your first walk, and then it'll show if you do a perfect month, it gives you perfect months. And I was doing perfect months really a lot in 16. Then all of a sudden I started missing a few days. I decided I didn't have to do this every day. Well, this August I decided, you know what, I need to get back into doing something every day. And so I got August, September, October, November, December, and I know I'll have January. And then, yeah, then it will tell you, tells you other interesting things. So, like these are interesting. The yellow ring that goes around for the 30 minutes a day, if I do 60 minutes, then that would be, this thing doesn't like me too. Okay. If I do 60 minutes, then I get this award. 200% of your move goal. If I do 3, which usually happens when I do the bike, then I get 300%. I've only done 400% a few times.
So what can you do with those? You take them to Apple Store and you can do it?
No. You just look at it, you just look at them and say, I did it.
Self-satisfaction.
Self-satisfaction. Now, I am working on one this month that I did not think I'd be able to get, and it's this one right here. It's a challenge. They give you challenges now, and some of the challenges are unrealistic, but they're based on your activity. They look at your activity and they say, okay, here's a challenge for this person. So for me, they gave me a challenge for January to do 2,540 minutes of exercise. That's a lot of exercise. But I'm at 1987, and I have about 8 days left to complete that, so I don't think I'll have a problem. Yes?
When you're going to bicycle, do you have to set your app and tell it you're going to bicycle?
Yes, you have to tell it you're going to bicycle. And it'll work with their app, or I use a third-party one that will feed into the watch.
At your next meeting, we want to know if you got the award.
That's right.
Mitch,
I'll
where
tell
do I
you.
find a word?
A word, you find it in activity. Did you see that activity? Hold on.
Down on the bottom.
And then at the bottom, and then awards are right here. Okay?
It's a participation award.
Yeah. Yes. Marilyn.
I have a different question.
Yeah.
He said on the video that if you press on the watch, you can get the list view. When I press on the apps, I get the jiggling. I don't get the list view.
I got the list.
No, you get the list view. See me after the meeting, I'll show it to you real quick.
You press on the,
You got that whole circle there.
Right.
You just press in the middle of it and it'll come up with that option.
okay, I did it about 15 times and I still got jiggling, but,
I'll show you the magic touch afterwards.
okay.
Okay, now, I wanted to do one more thing, so we're running out of time. But also in here is the watch. And I really plan to go over a lot of this because this is where you can set up different faces, which people ask about. And so here are the three that I have. So if I go edit, and I go to this one, and I want to change that. That's where I can do it, or I can do it right on the watch itself. And these are the only ones that I have. You can also edit, and you can do, so here are all kinds, and yeah, I have 9. I had a lot more than that I deleted, a bunch of them. But I only use about 3. Then, they talked about app layouts. Okay, this is the app layout that you were talking about, Marilyn. But you can change that to a list on the watch.
When you push on that?
No, not when you push on this. You can change it on the, there's actually a place to change it in here. Here's the dock. These would be your favorite apps that you want to look up. So on my dock, and to get to the dock, you just swipe up a little bit. I have these right here. Now, not included in the dock are all the other apps that I have on my phone that I really don't want in the dock, but I could pull up at any time. Then in general, and incidentally, if you've got a watch, they just came out with an update yesterday for the watch, the iPhone, and the iPad.
And that's the other thing, you notice I wear my watch on my right arm.
Yeah, you can change that right here. You can change the orientation. Under accessibility, bold text is good to have on.
Where's accessibility?
Accessibility is under general. And let me just see.
By the way, the Apple Store has, like daily, these watch presentations that you can sign up through Today at Apple.
Yeah. Today at Apple. Let me go over this real quick. This is the, if you're under that watch app and you go down, because we didn't talk a lot about this, to Emergency SOS, you can go in here and you can contact people, hold the side button and it will automatically call emergency services if you hold it long enough. Fall detection, that's where it's turned on. And incidentally, if you're over 65, it'll automatically be turned on. I mean, you can turn it off, but it's automatically turned on.
What about if they're like Bruce over 100?
How's Bruce doing? I haven't heard from him. Good, okay. Okay, the other thing was, done, but, this one right here, I want to go real quick. The heart, he talked about this. So I've got irregular turned on. I've got the, if my heart rate exceeds 120 when I'm in a resting position, it'll tell me. So resting would be if I'm sitting here right now. If it goes below 45, it'll tell me, and then that one does go off for me every once in a while, because sometimes it's down to 42.
When you're exercising?
No, when I'm just sitting or
You
laying
better get a
down.
pacemaker.
All right, so that's enough. George started talking. I'll be here if anybody has any questions.
Thank you, Mitch.